I had a purpose before everybody had an opinion.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out.
You want Philly?
Chase Utley, you are the man.
You come out backyard and you try to start something, you always get your butt kicked.
The prayers have been answered.
How about those Eagles, baby?
And Rio Muto can run for days.
Can you feel what's about to happen on this field, man?
A perfect game. Roy Halladay has thrown the second perfect game in Philadelphia Phillies history.
All right, we are back with another episode of Philly Talk. A pretty great week overall. This one's probably going to be a bit shorter because there's not as much bad to talk about. There's a ton of good to talk about. But just a really great week for the Phillies. They really improved on a lot of stuff. Let's just get right into the good right now. You know, no need for the little transitions and all that. Let's just get right into the good for this one because, again, there's just a lot to talk about as far as the good, because the Phillies went on a stretch of games, and obviously a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you were playing the Rockies, you were playing the White Sox, but it's like not every game is guaranteed, and if we were to lose those games, then people would be like, oh, you couldn't even beat the White Sox, you couldn't even beat the Rockies and all that, you know. So I'll take what I can get. They beat the bad, they beat the bad teams. They did what they were supposed to do. I'm not going to be upset about it, especially because it was good to see that hopefully this stretch of games got them going. They were in a bit of a slump, as we know, and it looks like this game, or these series of games, really got them going, you know. So in the second, because we left off talking about the first Colorado game, I believe. The second one was Christopher Sanchez's game. Or actually, no, I think we talked about this one last, or did we not? Hold on, I'm trying to remember in my head. No, I don't think we talked about the final two games, if I remember correctly. Well, anyways, in the second Colorado game, we saw a ton happen. Funny enough, so JT hits a 2-run home run to center field. It was funny because you hear John Kruk saying something about, oh, how about a line drive to right center? It's not quite as accurate, but it's always funny to hear these things happen whenever Kruk is like, he says something and then it happens, you know. But yeah, JT got a big 2-run home run to center. Ranger was doing really well on the mound. He had a double play in this game, and I was just like, please, you know, prayer circle for a fully healthy Ranger season so we can finally see him win that Gold Glove. Want to see him get enough innings and games to qualify for that Gold Glove finally. Back-to-back doubles in games too was really great to see. What a play from Marsh defensively to catch that ball in the outfield and get it all the way in at second and stop to get the ball and get that out at second. Harper had a 2-run home run in that game too. And then of course the big talking point is Ranger getting that complete game shutout. He went all 9 innings, only allowed 7 hits and 1 walk, no earned runs, 8 strikeouts. Really good stuff from him. And yeah, that was pretty much that game, you know, real great stuff from those guys. Game 3, we saw Schwarber and Turner go back-to-back on home runs. Schwarber didn't even finish his time in the dugout when Turner hit that home run. That was real cool. They had a real electric first inning, as I would describe it. You know, they scored 4 runs in that first inning. They did pretty well for themselves, you know. Let's see. Schwarber also got another home run. That's something I forgot. He had another home run later in the game. Was really going off in that game. Sanchez, you know, he went 6 innings, only allowed 1 earned run, had 10 strikeouts on the day, looked really good. Junior Marte did pretty good. And then things fell apart. Again, we're going to try and combine everything here. So looking at what was the bad from this game, what was that bullpen doing in this game? It was at one point, let me see, what was the score? Let's see, 4, so it was like 7-1 entering that 8th inning. And then out of nowhere, just you know, they throw in Gregory Soto and boom, boom, boom. They're getting hits off of him. They're getting runs off of him. He's walking too many guys. It's like, dude, what is going on? You know? And then Hoffman allows a hit, but he gets them out. And then it turns into a whole save situation now where Jose Alvarado has to come in. And they end up having to use his arm. But thankfully, as we know, in the next couple of games, they didn't really need much of a save situation, you know, from Alvarado. But yeah, that was a Rocky series. Pretty great stuff. We move on to the White Sox series. The first game, Turnbull obviously starts. Turnbull gives you 7 innings, only allows 1 hit, no earned runs, 6 strikeouts. Real great stuff there. And then offensively, you know, we saw Alec Bohm hit 2 3-run home runs with the same guys on base, and I'm pretty sure in the same positions as well. You know, like as far as I think it was first and second. That was pretty crazy to see. Alec Bohm went off that game. He basically did all that was needed. You know, was scored 6 out of the 7 runs. The other run, I forget where the other. Oh, Whit Merrifield had his first home run. That's where the other one came from. Yeah, and again, another shutout against the team. We shut out the White Sox in this game. Pretty great stuff there. My only real complaint, which at this point is just a nitpick from all Philly fans, is just Martian not starting a ton, you know. But this game was pretty good for what it was, you know. Had a lot of fun watching that game. They did what they needed to do. The second game against the White Sox, this time Wheeler was on the mound. Wheeler goes out, gives you 7.1 innings, 8 strikeouts. Was trying to get that complete game shutout as well. Was on track to getting a no-hitter as well. Oh, and that's the other thing. Turnbull too was on track for a no-hitter, but then, you know, ends up getting that. Not only did the no-hitter get broken up for Wheeler, but he was at 100-something pitches, so it was kind of obvious that he wasn't going to be going that far, you know. But yeah, real great stuff from Wheeler, man. He's been really good. The whole starting pitching staff has been good, as we'll talk about. But in this game, as far as the goods here, we saw Marsh get a home run. We saw Castellanos get a triple. We saw Trey Turner continue his extra base hitting streak. You know, just real great stuff. But again, kind of like that Colorado game, this was another situation where you were like, what the hell is this bullpen doing? Because Sir Anthony comes in to finish off for what Wheeler was doing. And then Ricardo Pinto comes in. And kind of like Gregory Soto, he allows the 5 earned runs. Now, thankfully, we were up by quite a margin that, you know, you didn't really mind the 5. But again, it was like he gave up the 5 earned runs. I was struggling so much that Jose Alvarado had to come in and save this game. Again, not really what you want to see. But at the same time, you know, it's not as big of a surprise in a sense, you know. At least to me, it's like we heard the story. The guy wasn't in the majors for a while, you know. It's been a while since he pitched in the majors. But also, it's I don't know. It's something that you definitely see as of late. Is that I don't know what it is with Philly fans, especially. I know it's not unique to Philly fans. I know almost every fan base does this, but it's we will uplift these players and then turn on them so quickly because we have this mindset of well, what have you done for me lately, in a sense, you know. It's I'm one to admit to you heard me talk at the beginning points of the season talking about what could happen with Johan Rojas if he continued these struggles, and people were going as far as oh, this and that, send him down to the minors, this and that, and now Rojas has been hitting extremely well since I want to say since that St. Louis game, but I forget the date, honestly. I think it was that St. Louis game where he had 3 hits. He's been hitting really well for us. I believe he's even batting above 300 since that time. He's been doing really well, especially just getting himself on base. He's gotten a bit better at laying down those bunts, and I bring this up because, you know, it's the same thing with Castellanos, and now it's the same thing with Ricardo Pinto, where a bunch of people are DFA him, send him down to the minors. I never want to see him pitch for us again, you know. And it's kind of just all right, but when he, showed up and gave us 4 straight innings of bullpen work in that one game, you guys were so happy for him, and this and that. It's like, it gets kind of annoying when you have to, like, deal with that a lot, where it's just like, oh, one day they love you, one day they hate you. And it's just kind of annoying to see where it's like so many people, after the bad game that Nola had against Atlanta, so many people were like, oh yeah, this is the guy we're giving a 7-year contract to. Oh yeah, 7 more years of Nola. And yet, look at what Nola and the rest of the starting pitchers have been doing. And do you hear any complaints now? It's like, no. Now people all of a sudden love him. It's like, people got to understand. Again, like I keep saying in the moving forward part, we're still at the beginning of the season. There is still many more months ahead. I can understand these complaints if we're below 500 in like August or September, or if we're really struggling like in the postseason with some of these guys. I can understand those complaints then, but it's like, it's April, man. And not only is it just April, but it's like, even with all your complaints, it's like, this is a much better start for the Phillies in April than they've had in previous times. Like, my dad and I were talking about it. This time last April, I'm pretty sure we were struggling just to get to 500. And I remember the Philly fan base celebrating when they finally hit 500. They didn't go above 500. They finally hit 500, and everyone was celebrating, and making memes about it. It was like, that's how much we were struggling at the start last season. This season, much better start. And yeah, that's just something I wanted to mention, because like, it gets a bit annoying to have to like see the fan base be like that, like, oh, this and that, and be like, oh, as soon as someone has like one bad performance, they're talking already about DFAing someone and sending them down to the minors. I saw some fool trying to say, oh, maybe we can send Bryce Harper down to the minors so he can learn how to hit again. It's like, oh, brother. But moving on, the third White Sox game, I didn't really get to take too many notes because I was on the road for the most part when we were listening to this game. But it was a pretty great game. Nola gave you 8 innings of work, only 2 earned runs. Those 2 earned runs came in the first. And again, a lot of people were complaining, like, oh, there goes Nola letting up another home run. Yeah, but guess what? Unlike last season, he has the offense that will back him up now and give him run support. Because after that, again, he gave you 7 innings of just complete shutout work after letting up that 2-run home run. He only allowed 4 hits, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts on a pitch count of 91, and then Junior Marte came in. Junior Marte's been doing pretty good. Another guy who people were complaining after that one bad outing, but he's been pretty consistent pretty much after that. This game, Schwarber had a home run, and then I don't remember too much else. I just remember they did really good, They scored 3 in that first inning. They had that like little league play that was pretty funny. They scored 3 in the 4th, 1 in the 6th and 7th. Beat the White Sox 8-2. Real great stuff. Yeah, they did what they needed to do again against the bad teams. Not too many complaints there. And then yesterday was against Cincinnati. Again, this one's going to be a bit of a tougher series. As we saw, earlier in the season when we really struggled against them. We lost the series 2-1. But this time, at least for now, we're off to a bit of a better start. This time it's a 4-game series, so we'll have to see. But this one, Ranger was on the mound, and again, masterful work from Ranger. 7 innings, only allowed 2 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Down to a 1.36 ERA on the season. Ranger has been amazing. He's 4-0, which again, wins aren't really a pitcher stat, but that just goes to show they're giving him the run support to match, the effort that he's putting in. Soto had a pretty great bounce back. 2 strikeouts back to back. 1-2-3 inning, if I remember correctly from him. Real great stuff. And then Hoffman comes in, finishes the game off. They haven't finished the game off because, they want him to pitch. And, this is the only game. Like, they're not going to wait too long for, like, a save situation for a closer game to have him pitch. But, yeah, we win this one 7-0. Scored pretty consistently, got a run in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Scored 3 in the 9th. That was real fun to see. We saw a home run from Cody Clemens. That's where 3 of the runs came from in the 9th. Cody was, of course, starting at first because Bryce is on leave because he's having a kid. Congratulations to him and his wife, I believe. But yeah, so that's why Cody was in. And they mentioned on the broadcast, man, is there any way we can get a 27th roster spot, man? Because it just kind of sucks that Cody isn't on the major league roster. Like you see it whenever he's there. He's real, beloved by the different teammates and all that, and you just wish that he could be on this roster more. But that was real fun to see him get that home run. And yeah, they did pretty good in this game. We saw Rojas get a triple. We saw Bohm and JT and Cody get doubles in this game. No real complaints from this one. Again, another shutout of a team. We win 7-0. Real great stuff from this team in this stretch. Hoping they can continue this momentum going, especially because they have a pretty tough stretch coming up to not only close out April, but to start and really from here on out, it gets a bit tougher is basically what I'm trying to say. The whole month of May is going to be a bit more difficult too. I want to see them carry this momentum forward, because looking forward, you got 3 games against Cincinnati left, of course. You got 3 against the Padres, and then again, similar to how these past couple weeks have been, the next time we talk here for Philly Talk, they'll have played 1 game against the Angels. And even looking past that, it's you got that series against the Angels, you got a series against the Giants, 4-game series against them, 2 games against Toronto, and then you start going on a NL East stretch where you play the Marlins, the Mets, the Nationals, and then after the Nationals, it's the Rangers. So, sorry. From there, it's gonna get a bit more tough than obviously this past week, and you just want to see him carry this momentum going forward. But the biggest thing to highlight is the starting pitching staff has been insane. I don't want to jinx them, but they have just been doing so great. It's it's unbelievable to see the start that they've been on. Ranger, 1.36 ERA, has only allowed 2 home runs on the season. He has a 0.697 WHIP. Aaron Nola, 3.16 ERA, 1.085 WHIP. Zach Wheeler, 2.3 ERA, 0.894 WHIP. Spencer Turnbull, 1.23 ERA, 0.773 WHIP. And then Sanchez, 2.95 ERA, 1.359 WHIP. They've just been doing really good. They haven't been allowing a ton of home runs. Especially the back half of the rotation has been really good at getting ground outs. They may not get you a ton of strikeouts, although on some nights they can, as we saw Sanchez get 10. But they've been real good. A lot of people, they're like, oh man, I can't believe it, we're gonna take out Spencer Turnbull for Taijuan Walker. A part of me would want to see maybe a 6-man rotation to not completely take Spencer Turnbull out, but again, the injury concerns, this guy's coming off of injury. They don't really want him pitching too many innings, and plus, he could be reliable in that bullpen. But again, we have to see what his first bullpen outing will be like. Is he gonna be able to do well out the bullpen, or is it gonna be a case where it's he struggles in a sense? But so far, this starting rotation has been amazing. Would love to see the bullpen get things locked down, because as of right now, they've kind of been struggling a bit. Jose Alvarado has done, pretty good, but he's still trying to work to get his ERA down from a couple of mishaps earlier in the season. Right now, he's still at a 5.19. Hoffman's doing pretty good. He's at a 1.8. Junior Marte, I was talking about him, other than, that one struggle that he's at a 0.93 ERA with appearances in 9 games so far, 1 less than Hoffman. That's pretty good. Sir Anthony and Soto are still trying to get things down. Sir Anthony's at a 5.87, Soto's at an 8.1, so they're really trying to work themselves down. Those past couple of outings haven't really helped Pinto. He's at an 11.17 ERA. Matt Strom, 2.08, doing pretty well for himself. Kirk Ring only made 2 appearances so far, but he's at a 0 ERA. I want to see a bit more of him. But yeah, like I mentioned in the last episode, man, I'm just excited to see him back in. It's going to be very interesting to see, how well he does. But yeah, would love to see the bullpen improve a bit, but the starting rotation has done really well, and I just need the offense to stay hot the way they have. They've been doing real well. They've been scoring early. That's the best part. And all I have left to say is Brandon Marsh is an everyday player.